next. Oops. Oh, sorry. Probably sounded horrible. We're going to talk next about the calendar. And the calendar has the idea of not only events and assignments, but it also has a scheduling feature, which you might find very useful. So if you're in your Canvas, in the Rutgers Canvas, and you are looking on your global navigation, and you can tell that you're working in Rutgers because your environment is red. My environment is gray. Yours has been customized with your branding for your institution. So the button we're looking for is the calendar button. It's the third one up from the bottom. Mine will just take a minute to load because I do have a bunch of stuff on it. All right, here is the calendar in my other environment where I have courses that I'm attached to, and you can see that it's all different colors. It's not just because I like different colors, right? They each mean something. So let me tell you about that. When you were on your dashboard, you have probably just the one course so far, right? Your sandbox course. Whatever color that is on your dashboard is going to correlate to everything that's attached to that course on your calendar. We see some pencils here, so we know that we can make some adjustments. So let's say I don't want this one to be purple, and I can click on the pencil, and I'm able to do two things here. I'm able to give my course a nickname, because if yours are pulling over, I'm not sure, Chris or Priscilla, how they're set up. Are you pulling these from like a student information system, yes, course names? So they might come over as like a string of letters and numbers and be hard for you to tell what it is. So you can give your course a nickname. Here's the fun part. It only shows for you. So you can call this the best, business applications course that has ever been taught at Rutgers, right? It's only going to show for you. Your students won't be able to see it, but that'll help you to differentiate what this is. So I can rename this. This course is actually about Greek and Roman mythology. So that's one thing you can do. You can nickname your course. The other one is, no, I don't want to go into it. You can change the color. And so when you click on it, you're going to see this small palette of colors, and you can pick whichever one you like. But I know we do have some people from the art school here. So if you don't like any of those colors, you can pick any color in the known universe that you want. All you have to do is grab the hex code of it. This website is colorhex.com. All I have to do is grab that hex code. Let's say I wanted it to be this color right there. And I can paste it into that box and click apply, and that will change that tile for me. Your students can also do this, all right? So the nice thing about Canvas, and I know it's not true for every other learning management system, is that this user interface and everything I'm showing you is also how it works for students. It's not like if you know how to use it one way, they have to learn it another way. So they will also be able to nickname their courses. They could call it the worst business course that's ever been taught at Rutgers, okay? And they can customize their colors. Now, we taught our students going through the pilot why it was important that they not pick all the same color for their tiles, or else they weren't going to be able to tell them apart on their calendar. We moved 6th grade first. That was our pilot group. Remember, 6th grade's middle school, and I told you before that I'm a recovering middle school teacher. So, of course, 6th graders are smarter than I am, because I said, you can't make all your tiles the same color. And little Rachel said, well, I made all of mine purple. And I said, oh, good for you, Rachel. That's great. You're not going to be able to tell your assignments apart on your calendar. And she said, no, miss, I can. Because you know that website you showed us? Well, did you know that at the bottom there's shades and tints? And I can pick a different shade and tint of purple, and they're all purple, and I can tell them apart. So if you want to do that, if you have a favorite color, you can use the color hex codes and change all of your colors, as long as you can tell them apart.
Is there like I was thinking maybe all my templates are more
they just show for you.
Yeah,
So.
And do you know, have you talked to other people, like, what do they do in terms of using it to categorize stuff?
I don't know. I haven't. I've never. No. Nope, I don't know. So it's really kind of whatever works for you. Yeah. So if you're not having if you don't need to differentiate on your calendar necessarily, and you're not worried about due dates, then you could develop your own system for how you want it to show. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The other thing I just want to tell you quickly is, if you ever come a time where you think, I should have more courses there, where are they? All right, they're not showing on my dashboard. You have this courses button underneath. Now, you probably don't have anything else there, but I will show you this in case it ever happens that you think you should have another course not showing. If I click on my All Courses button, these are actually all the courses I'm associated with, and I don't have them all showing on my dashboard because it's just way too many. But if I wanted to add, for example, this Intro to Geology course to my dashboard, all I have to do is fill in the star next to it, and now it's going to show on my dashboard. And if I don't want to show the Business and Telecommunications course, I just unfill the star, and now that'll go away.
Is this how the courses are archived as well?
Yep, so
Do they populate one list?
it'll be, yeah, so any courses you've ever been associated with that are archived for you are still going to show up in that list, so you'll be able to see them, but you don't necessarily have to have them on your dashboard. Go ahead, question.
On the dashboard, so after a semester, will they automatically not be on the dashboard, or will they still be on the dashboard, and we have to archive them, or what? How does that work? I mean, thinking for some of us that have a lot of courses on our dashboard, templates and something that we love to do that, so we have to like,
Sure. You're wondering if they will automatically, once they're archived, not be on your dashboard? That is how it should work. I can't promise that sometime you might have one that's not showing and you'll have to go into it. Absolutely. It's not going to go away. So anytime you need to access it, and anytime you need to access a course, it's always going to live under your courses button. Yep. And then you can just say, these are the only courses I want on my dashboard.
Is that how I would deal with, because I teach four different courses a semester,
Mhm.
but one of them is the same, so 3 different courses a semester, and then I have to work with adjuncts and faculty for, let's say, 6 other different courses.
Okay.
I can't even imagine what my calendar would look like.
Uh-huh.
How would I not get the calendar?
See it on your calendar?
I could care less when those
Awesome.
things are done
Perfect.
for the other people.
That's right where I'm going next. So
Okay.
there is a way to conquer that too.
Okay.
Yep. So all of that was just to show you, why the colors matter. I'm going to go back to my calendar. And when I do that, and like I said, it's going to take a minute to load up. I have a bunch. It defaults to month, always. Month is the view I like the best, and I will tell you why in a minute. You can show for the week if you want to. Now, here's why I don't like it, and those of you who are online teachers will get it. If I don't put an end time on my assignments, and I let my students work till the end of the calendar day, right? So they can hand in things to me until 11:59 p.m. If I work or they work off of the week view, and it's not due till 11:59, it's going to push it all the way to the bottom of their calendar. So they could mistakenly think that they actually don't have anything due that day. So I do prefer the month view. Now, Anne Michelle's question was, I don't need to see the calendars for all of these courses. So you can, just like I starred and unstarred on my dashboard, I don't want to see the calendar for 8th grade math. I just unfill that square and it goes away. So now those things aren't going to show on my calendar anymore. I'm still attached to that class. I can still always go back and put it back on my calendar if I want to. We use this for our students. Sometimes students who have attention issues or they have special needs, they get overwhelmed by seeing a lot of things at one time, or they just want to focus on one thing at a time. So they can, they have the ability to turn their calendars on and off too. and just look at maybe one subject at a time, one course at a time. What do all these things mean that are on this calendar? I hope you can see them because there are different icons. The A+, these are assignments. All right, that's the assignment type in Canvas. There are 3 types of assessments in Canvas. There's assignment, there's discussion, and there's quiz. So the A+ is the assignment type. The bubble is the discussion, and then the Q is the quiz. Why are some of them crossed off? It means different things for you as instructors than it does for students. So if they're crossed off for me as an instructor, it means that the due date has come and gone, and I'm all caught up. I've graded everything that's attached to that, right? Canvas has a lot of ways to tell me that I'm doing a good job and to notify me when I've got something that's outstanding. So that's one of the ways. You can see this is something, this artwork review has come and gone, due date's come and gone, but it's not crossed off for me because I still have grading in that one. For students, once they submit it, it crosses off on their calendar. So it's a good way for them to tell kind of where they stand, what do they still need to do. The other thing that's on here are events. So anything that where students need to submit or is going to have a grade will populate on our calendars as soon as we attach a date to it. It just showed up here. So when I was building in the course and I gave it a due date, it put it right on the calendar for me. I didn't actually have to put these things here. They just appeared, which is really nice. So any assignments, discussions, quizzes, when I create them and they give a due date, are going to come to my calendar. Events are things that don't have a date necessarily, they don't have a submission necessarily, but it's something that's happening in my course that I want to make my students aware of. And those are the ones with the calendar icon.
How do you create those icons?
The icon's just, it's whatever type you pick when you're creating. So when you're creating the assessments, it just automatically knows.
Got it.
Yep.
Right. Fit somewhere else. Got it.
So you can add things to your calendar from here. So you're going to see at the top too, you have a personal calendar. So I have one here called Miss Keith. That's just yours. No one else can see it. So if you want to put events on your Canvas calendar that are your personal things, you certainly can. No one else will be able to see it. If I wanted to create a new event, I can just, or you can create assignments from the calendar. Let's start with events. If I wanted to add an event, let's say that on June 17th, we're going to have group conferences. And I want to let my students know. I can say the date and time, and you can put in location. So maybe this is an online conference. You can put the URL in there. Canvas is going to ask you which calendar do you want this attached to, because each one of your courses has their own calendar. So you just have to say, this is the calendar it's going on. This is going on my Fahrenheit 451 calendar. And then if you click submit, it is just going to take a minute and appear. So here is that event that I just added. Once I have it there, if I want to make it a couple day event, you see that I didn't give it a start and an end time. So if you don't give it a start and end time, you're allowed to stretch it over multiple days. I'm just hovering over the edge there and I get this double-headed arrow. And then I'm able to stretch this and make it be a 2-day event. If I have it on my calendar and then I realize I put it on the wrong date, I'm like, oh gosh, now what do I have to do? Do I have to delete it? Nope, you can move it to wherever it needs to go. And that's going to update it everywhere for your students. That's how it works too with any of these things that I have scheduled for my course. So let's say, I was hoping that I would get to this section of my course and my students would be able to submit their paper on Ray Bradbury on the 10th, but we had a malfunction of some sort and I actually have to move it to the 14th. I just grab it from the 10th and I drop it onto the 14th. And that's now updated everywhere in my course. It's been updated on my syllabus, it's been updated in the flow of my course, and if my students had their notifications turned on for due dates, which I hope they do, they just got a notification that I changed the due date. So I only have to just drag it around on my calendar, which I love that feature. Because how many times do we think we're going to be at one point and we don't get there and we have to move it, All right, just update it in one place and it's going to change it. From the calendar, what your students are able to see is if they clicked on this and they wanted to see, all right, what's Ms. Keith asking me here? If they click on it, they're going to get a little preview of what the assignment is. And then if they clicked on the link, that would take them into the course so they can actually work on and submit that assignment. So it could be the place where they start their day. I feel like you guys will probably really leverage the use of this calendar more than, even our teachers of our younger kiddos. You can also, in addition to making events from the calendar, you can add assignments here. So you see if I click on a date, I get two tabs. One is the event tab and the second one is the assignment tab. You probably already have a scope for your course and you kind of know where your big pieces are going to be due, right? When your big assessments or projects or tests are happening. So if you wanted to sit down with your course calendar and start scoping these out on your Canvas calendar, you simply could just put the title of what it is. So maybe I know in my Greek and Roman mythology course that in the first week of September we have a writing assessment, and I can just pick the date. I think that's Labor Day, so I'm not going to pick that day. I say that this is going to be my course that I want it in. That's all I'm going to do right here. I'm not doing anything else. I have the ability to fully build out this assignment from right here. I'm not going to do that right now, but I can. If I don't do anything else here, I just give it a name and a date, and I click submit. What that did was in that course, that just made a placeholder for me. So I can go back into that course and fully build out that assignment. Usually people want me to prove it, but that actually did happen, so I will show you that actually did happen. If I go into my assignments, here it is. So here is the assignment that I just made a shell for. It's just a holder, there's nothing there. It's not published yet for my students, but I know, I'm planning it out on my calendar. I know that this is what I'm going to do. When I'm ready to go back and build it out, I have a placeholder for me in my Canvas course. All right, so those are the things that you can do, the basic things with the calendar. The thing I don't usually get to show is Scheduler, but because they're like, I wouldn't use that. Well, I showed it for Parent Teacher Night. What you can do with Scheduler is you can create appointment groups. So you can say to the students in your course, maybe you need to they each need to meet with you during office hours. So you can create your appointment groups from your Canvas calendar. All you have to do is give it a name. You tell Canvas when they're going to happen and the time range. All right, so you say they're going to be between 1 and 3 p.m. And then you say to Canvas, all right, break these into 15-minute increments or hour increments, whatever it is. It'll do the math for you. You say, who do I want this available to? All right, we're going to make it available to everyone in my Fahrenheit 451 course. I'm going to limit each one of my students. I'm only going to talk to them one at a time, so one student at a time. And each student only gets one appointment. And then I can say, sign up to meet with me. Everyone pick a time. And email me if none work. Once it's saved and published, my students are going to be able to then come in here, see the times that are available, and they're going to be able to select a time. Because I said only one person at a time, they're not going to see the other time slots. And I can schedule it this way. Those are going to come as appointments to my calendar and to the students. Go ahead, Rachel. So they would have this functionality with the grouping thing. So yeah, yes. They actually have a better tool. So the better tool is the grouping tool, and I think that's on our schedule for Monday. I think is when we talk about it, because it's really awesome. So they actually, just a preview, if you weren't planning on coming back Monday, right, make sure you're here, because Monday I'm going to tell you that you can give your students their own group collaborative space where they can have their own conferences. They get their own discussion boards. They get all of those things where if they were working on a project, they would get that space. Go ahead.
So once students sign up for their office hour,
Yes.
and it's an online course, where are they meeting with you? Is there a tool for this, a feature for this?
You could use the conferences tool, which I'll be showing. Yep. Or I don't know if you guys use Adobe or do you have some other virtual classroom? No. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, you could say, here's the link, and meet me in my Zoom room or Blue Jeans or whatever it is, WebEx, whatever it is, Skype, yeah, whatever, Google Groups. All right, so that is the calendar. All right, go ahead and try out the calendar. And what you can do